Boy, my voice is gone. You know, I want to congratulate Florida Atlantic. I know they don't feel great right now, but boy, I thought they competed really hard. And congratulate our players, particularly our seniors, guys who have been through here and had so many ups and downs. And if you look at the tail end, I think it was predominantly a couple seniors out there making plays on both sides of the football. And it sends a message to our whole program that you got to keep trucking, you got to keep believing. Sometimes when you think you've seen it all, you haven't. And today was a great example of that, just a resolve and a belief and making plays, and we certainly did when we needed them, and everything down to Stu's field goal at the end, which we practiced a lot, and so huge win for us, huge win.
Have you ever been part of something like that, Coach? That type of a
not to that degree. There's been some other things that have, you know, harkens back to like 1985 at Tulsa playing Long Beach State, who doesn't even play football anymore. But this is even, I think, you know, more of a turnaround. I mean, if you got their first, and I don't know where were they on the 9 or something like that, and then to come up with a strip and then move the ball all the way down the field, certainly was exciting.
Greg, talk about the strip. Was that just, you know, like the quarterback ran it, and did they just go after the ball, or did you have any kind of defense called there? Or what
well, it was an all-out pressure, and certainly our guys recognized at that time of the game the only way the game's going to we have a shot is to cause a turnover. I was about ready to go down and burn a timeout because I thought, well, at least make them snap the ball a couple more times. And you know, from their standpoint, they've got a senior who's a veteran player, to a big, strong guy, and you know, they're not going to risk an exchange. And like I said, I think it was Nazacha that stripped it, and Stanton came up with football, which was a huge play, and then even more so the next big play.
On the pass to Don that got you down deep, I mean, what was the call there? It looked like Colby stood in there pretty good.
He did. It was good protection. It was a drop back pass, and you know, we cleared things out, and Brent had one dialed up. And you know, really, sometimes in the midst of all the chaos, you know, our football team's maturing to the fact that as opposed to just running around celebrating, they huddled up right away, got on the field, we got the play called, and you'd think that would be normal procedures, but earlier in the year, something like that happened, we had to burn a timeout. Well, at that time, we had no time. I mean, we had one. We had to utilize that. And so, really pleased with our performance and our boys there.
Coach, is that setting up a field goal, or did you want to score a touchdown?
No, we wanted to score a touchdown, but the ball was going to come. However, we've been practicing. You know, it sounds like a crazy thing to do, but we've been practicing a field goal on the 1 on each hash. You know, it's kind of like a sandwich shot, but we were trying to score and came up short. And we also, we burned the 1 timeout, so we wanted to make sure if once we kicked the field goal that they wouldn't have much time left. They had virtually one play left. And so we burned the timeout, and then we got a hurry field goal team out there ready to go.
Coach, how much is it kind of a testament to this defense where, you know, when FAU takes over, you know, a lot of people think the game's over. Just to be able to stay in it and stay focused, to be able to make a play like that.
Those are easy things to say. You know, keep trucking, keep believing. But until you're out there on the grass and you're the guys that's really doing it, it's much easier said than done. And I think that's going to send a message. We've got senior players on defense. They have not played in the system before, but they played a lot of football, and so they're doing a great job of. Keep believing. And, you know, coming off of last week's game to come back, and you know, this team, whatever you can say, they scored 50 points against Tulsa, so it was a really good effort. But Coach Partridge, you know, that program was coming, and their guys were fighting. I thought it was an excellent college football game.
Even though, I mean, what counts is the win, but got the big play to Dom at the end. Your first drive was impressive, but I know the offense really did have some struggles. Protection, just 3 and outs. I mean, obviously you happy with win, but are you a little concerned?
You know, in the midst of all the elation, and we got a 24-hour rule. We're gonna enjoy it for 24 hours, and we'll watch the tape. We have musical chairs in the offensive line this week, and that's a challenge in itself. And that's gonna at times give us some problems. You know, with protection and getting the running game going. You know, I thought we'd be able to run the ball a little bit better than we did, but the one thing I've learned now, take the win and move forward with it, and that's what we're doing.
Coach, you know, you always talk about not giving up the big play, making them take the long road. I guess, were you pleased with the defensive performance where they gave up some yards but seemed to get those stops around their own 30 or 40 to kind of halt drives?
Yes and no. I mean, there's some things that I thought if Florida Atlantic got their running game going a little bit more than what we would like. I think we're going to need to, they isolated some guys, and we were not completely in the right gaps the whole time. But what was so positive is those turned into field goals. And as you saw in a game like this, you take a normal touchdown and you turn it into a field goal. I think the one touchdown they did get was off that long punt return, correct?
Yeah.
And so we're going to stay with that, make them go the long, hard way, and sooner or later we'll come up with a big play. And today
Talk about your confidence in Stewart and his ability, not only to kick that one, but the 50-yarder.
Yeah. He has made tremendous progress from the spring. We've spent a great deal of time working around the 40-yard line, saying, hey, that's like a field goal. We got to be consistent on that. He can stretch for the 50, and he felt good about 53 in the pregame warm-up. And I think he could have maybe kicked a 58-yarder. I mean, he really hit it well.
Coach, talk about earlier this week you commented on your 2-1 scrapping like heck to get to 3-1. Is this the definition of scrappability, I guess?
I don't know what adjective I could use. I'm 56 years old, and I feel like I need to get out my AARP card. I can tell you that. It was a scrap, and it was a great win. It's a win that I'll always remember, and I know our coaches and players will.
Coach, again, special teams playing a huge role in this game, a couple of big stops on kickoffs. Have you been doing anything to work on keeping them from getting that big play on those kickoffs and punts?
Well, we've worked hard on the kickoff coverage, and the punt. They had a really good return guy. He ended up getting a couple cramps, which I know he's back there on the last kickoff. They did get the one big return on us, and which set up the score. We'll continue to work on that. We've allocated a significant amount of time, and also we've adjusted our personnel. You can work a lot during fall camp on the kicking game, but until you've actually had the live repetition out there, because there's so much space, it's hard to replicate that. And so as the season's gone along, we've shifted some personnel. You're seeing more and more. Another freshman played today. Wyoming was out there and he played. We're integrating what we believe is more athleticism and more competitiveness.
Coach, what did you think about Colby today? Obviously, stayed until the end and made the throw he had to. It seemed like there were some struggles midway through the game there.
Well, there certainly were, and what I thought was great is even after the last drive, Coach Vegan called him over the phone. It's kind of like, okay, we need to do such and such, and that's preparation. And you can say whatever you want. He keeps coming back. He may not do this great, he may not do that great, but I mean, he keeps coming back and making the big play, and so he's like Teflon. I mean, he just keeps bouncing back. Maybe a Rolex watch. I better shut up before I get in the doghouse. That's the end of this press conference. I'm going to enjoy